Are you trying to decide if terrazzo tiles are perfect for your next project? Well, this is the video for you. We're gonna jump into terrazzo's rich history up to its modern applications. And then we're gonna dive deep into whether you should choose cement terrazzo or a resin-based terrazzo. And if you tune into the very end, we're gonna discuss those pro tips on how to install terrazzo tile to keep it looking beautiful for a very long time. If you don't know me, my name is Craig and I was a commercial contractor for over 20 years. The great thing about this subject today is I worked with one of the leading terrazzo installation contractors in the Southeast, and I learned a lot about terrazzo. So let's talk about terrazzo tiles and how that works for your project. Terrazzo tiles are a wonderful and great aesthetic for any project really, but what I love about terrazzo is its history. It started as early as the 15th century when stonemasons and artists had all these leftover marble chips and wondered what to do with them. These stonemasons would take this marble scrap and use it as aggregate in cement for their terraces and walkways. They figured out if they would sand these things down, it would turn into a beautiful floor. These early terrazzo floors were a great example of sustainability, using waste from one project and using them in another. But can you imagine these masons actually sanding down these floors with a sanding stone on the end of a stick? Well, thankful for the Industrial Revolution in the 1920s that allowed them to do this mechanically. These grinders came out, and once they really put in the aggregates just as they did before, mixing them in a mixing machine, throwing in the aggregate into the cement mixture, putting them on the floor, allowing it to set up, and then using a mechanical grinder to grind these down. This was a great floor, and you see it a lot in the Art Deco 20s architecture of our history. While poured in place terrazzo is an amazing floor, it does come with a couple of drawbacks. Number one, you gotta have some really good craftsmen that are working this floor. Number two, the equipment to grind it and polish it can be expensive. Number three, and probably the biggest reason terrazzo tiles were invented, is that it can bust up a schedule, because when you're pouring in place a floor, it really shuts down an entire area and other trades can't work. This is why terrazzo tiles have jumped onto the scene, because they take the best of terrazzo and they put it into a tile. Now when terrazzo tiles are created, they take that same process that's poured onto a floor and put it into a factory. Using whatever binder they want, they're mixing up the aggregate and the cement or the resin in a drum, and they're dropping it into a mold. When this is dropped into a mold, sometimes it's pressed, sometimes it's troweled out, depending on the factory, and this mold is set to cure. After the curing process, it is sent down the assembly line into the grinders, and they grind it flat, and then it goes into the polishing process. Now that it's polished, it's most often gone through a process which trims off the edges and gets it down to the size that you have purchased. And that's a basic idea of how terrazzo tiles are created. There are two different types of terrazzo tiles: cement-based binding and a resin-based binding. Cement-based terrazzo tiles are great. They are the traditional terrazzo that was created years and years ago. While this binder is perfect, it does have some natural attributes that you need to be aware of. Cement normally comes in some muted colors, gray and white. They still can be tinted to add a different aesthetic, but for the most part, they don't get crazy with the colors. Also, cement is naturally affected by acid. Acid can deteriorate it. Cement also has natural fissures and cracks in it. This is just part of the uniqueness of the binder. It is not a tile defect if you see a crack or a fissure. Also, you need to be careful when cutting. When cutting your cement terrazzo tiles, sometimes you can lose a stone or two on the edge. Another thing to keep in mind about cement terrazzo, you need to kind of take care of it the way you would a porous stone. So you would need to use a grout release before grouting, and then have a great sealer and maintenance program after you install. This tile is beautiful. It is traditional looking, and if taken care of properly, it'll last you a lifetime and give you that old world feel. Resin-based terrazzo tiles are extremely strong and versatile. The great thing about resin and epoxies, you can tint it to almost any color of the rainbow. This gives you a wonderful design aesthetic that can fit in any project. One of the things people may not like about it, it does kind of have a manufactured look. You can tell it's not that old world terrazzo, but yet still kind of has that feel. Resin-based terrazzo tiles are also very dense, which is great when cutting. You can cut it easily and it gives you a great clean edge. One of the things you need to be aware of is some resin-based materials require a different type of mortar or adhesive. Because of the density of the resin-based terrazzo tile, you can't get that mechanical bond that you look forward to with a mortar or a thin set or cement-based adhesives. This is the reason some resin-based materials require an epoxy adhesive. Check with your manufacturer to make sure you're using the right adhesive for the material. It is a great product, it is dense, it has tremendous attributes that you can use in your next project if you're looking for the terrazzo look with an upgraded color or vibrant pattern. Other than the adhesive choices, installation of both of these types of terrazzo tiles are very similar and almost the same as any other type of porcelain or ceramic or even stone tile. As I said before, the cement-based material should be treated like stone in your grouting process and in your maintenance. The resin-based material, you need to make sure you're using the right adhesive. As always, if you've got something over 15 inches, you need to use your large and heavy mortar installation procedures. This way you get the perfect coverage and it can last a lifetime. So there you have it. Terrazzo tiles add a unique blend to this wonderful timeless material. Make sure you choose the right binder, a cement or a resin, based on your project needs and the look that you're going for. Are you ready to bring a touch of history and enduring elegance to your next project? Well, then you have to go to tilebar.com because we have cement-based terrazzo, we have resin-based terrazzo, and something we didn't talk about, we have porcelain tile made to look like terrazzo. Let us know what you choose and enjoy your project. And if this video was helpful, please give me a like, subscribe. Make sure you don't miss anything by clicking on the bell icon. I want to help you through your tile project. And don't forget, let's keep learning together and tile the world.